Hello, friends. Our guest today is a 6'3" broadcaster from the University of Houston. He's been the voice of the Masters for 40 years. You know him from his time in the booth for the NCAA tournament and the NFL on CBS. He's a 2-time Sports Emmy winner for most outstanding sports personality. I can't do it this quiet. He's a member of the National Sports Media Association Hall of Fame, the only person to commentate on all 4 golf majors, and he is the first broadcaster in history to serve as the lead play-by-play announcer for the Super Bowl, the NCAA Men's Final Four, and the Masters, all in the same calendar year.
Come on!
92 Senators, please welcome Jim Nantz!
Let's go. Jim, welcome to the show, baby.
Oh, hey, hello, friends. What an introduction. My gosh, man, my head's so big right now, I'm not going to be able to fit in the Butler cabin this week, but I am so thrilled to be on with the Kelsey brothers. Obviously, I know you both for years. I've loved being able to meet with you guys in a variety of places. I'm really proud of your story, your whole Cleveland Heights.
Come on, baby.
Canton journey with a lot of stops in between. You're awesome, and thanks for having me on, man. This is my way to start the Masters week right here.
Let's go, man.
And start a whole new tradition unlike any other. Let's do it.
We're so pumped up, man. Jim, thank you for even considering coming on here. We've always been huge fans of you, big guy, and this is really cool, man. But you got to tell me what's the secret to a good Hello Friends, because it's so iconic, and you do it. There's nobody that does it anywhere close to you.
Well, let me just say this: I never had any intention of this becoming a thing. But years ago, and I'm not trying to make this too somber, I celebrate my father all the time. He's been gone a long time, but he battled Alzheimer's, and he was his late stages fighting Alzheimer's a quarter century ago. And that became my line to him so that he knew I was thinking of him when I came on the air. So not
that just gave me chills.
I know how close you guys are to your mom and dad. And that became a thing at a golf event, a PGA championship. And I told him I'm going to come on the air. I'm going to say, hello, friends, Jim Nantz here, along with it was Lanny Watkins, great guy. And I said, when I say that, I'm thinking of you as kind of channeling you.
That's so awesome. Are you kidding me?
Said it after we came on air. And after the show, someone said, I heard you say hello, friends. What's that all about? And I told the backstory. And they said, you ought to say that every show. So I started saying it. It took about 3 years before people actually said, you know what? You're saying that all the time. And it wasn't some lame attempt to draw attention. That's the last thing I want. But,
Right.
when that tally light comes on and a show is starting.
You're live, baby.
You're live. And, it might be a Super Bowl, which you guys know what that experience is like. It relaxes me. It makes me think of my dad, and I get right into the flow of the show.
That is so cool.
The one little footnote to this, there were a lot of people that were creating merch, particularly Masters Week, that had hello friends, and it looked like people thought I was doing it. I was creating it. I wasn't. And so my manager said, you ought to trademark it. So we ought to get the copyright on that. So we went through about a 6-month search, and we found it. We found somebody possessed it. A negotiation took place. And the lawyer called me, and I've been writing checks to the lawyer here as he's been working on this thing. And he said, I've got some good news and bad news. We found it. We found the people to own it. They're willing to deal with us. And I negotiated with them. And I said, look, I told you, I'll pay a lot of money for this.
Yeah.
It's personal. And they said, it's going to cost you $664. And I said, $664,000? And he said, no, $664. I said, wait a minute, I paid you $25,000 to write a check for $664. And I can't give the name away, but I can give you some hints. I bought it from a television superstar who owned it. Yeah. Wrote the check, did the whole thing, and now I own it. So when anybody says hello, friends, like you did, Jason, at the top, I'll give you the address. You got to send me a check for $25.
Right. You got it. I'll bring it down to the historic Butler cabin and pay it off.
Please, I love it. That's it. That's it.
Are you constantly thinking about like tags and you've had so many times throughout your career where you're in the middle of a game and it feels like it just comes to you. Do you pre-plan a lot of these things before the games, or is a lot of it just coming natural?
Let me ask you this. On the eve of games, did you ever kind of run through the game in your mind and actually see the plays so vividly in your head? You felt
Absolutely.
like you were actually playing it, but you were asleep, and
Yes.
you could actually see yourself moving and how you were going to react and how you were going to perform on that play. I do the same thing before every show. It is not scripting, but I think of scenarios. I think of what happens if Tiger wins. What's that going to feel like? What are the stories I'm going to want to get into? But those taglines, particularly at Augusta, and like I said, I've been doing it for 40 years, most of them are on the moment, organic. This is what I feel. I don't have notes in front of me. A couple of times I will have some background stories that I have written down. I want to make sure I get to it. But unlike a football game where I'm working off of spotting boards, in golf, I like to say I'm calling it from my heart. And what I see is what I feel. And I'm going to let my heart speak. So if Rory knocks in a putt to complete the career Grand Slam, as we witnessed a year ago, it struck me at the time to say the long journey is over. McIlroy has his masterpiece. I had not written that down. I had not gone to bed thinking exactly what I was going to say, but I kind of was noodling on the idea of masterpiece, but the words just kind of came out. Most of the time, that's the way it is. And it's like my last Super Bowl that I called. I've had the pleasure of calling 7 of them. Was the game in Las Vegas.
I know it very fondly.
When McCole Hardman caught the winning touchdown in overtime, I said, given it was in Las Vegas, jackpot. Kansas City. And I didn't have that one pre-planned. And then what happened after that? I went up on the victory platform and someone started singing Viva Las Vegas.
I let that run out a little too long. I apologize about that.
It was perfect. It was perfect. We've had some great moments on those platforms.
Dan, thank
Yes,
you.
you guys
Thank you
have.
enough for giving me those platforms, man. Those are the ones I remember the most.
One time, there was a show premiering on CBS after an AFC championship game. So, you don't realize, you realize it now, but you got someone not running commentary, but a producer telling you where you need to go next. So I got up there with the Lamar Hunt Trophy, and I got Clark Hunt, and I've got Andy over here, and I got Patrick, and you're on the outside of Patrick, and they're telling me we got to get through this, make it really fast. No follow-up questions, just one question to the coach and one question to Pat, and we're out of here. And we've got to get up there. They got to get to this programming while the audience is sizable.
Yeah.
Kind of giving them a little nod. They know that's for them. And Patrick answers a question, and I'm looking at you as he's answering it, letting you know I'm coming to you next. And they're saying in my ear, do not go another question. So I said, hey, before we go, Travis, come over here real quick. Congratulations. And this was the first time
Oh, yeah.
you went on you've got to fight for your right to party. But the F in fight dragged on so long.
I'll tell you what, it's been 7 years coming, baby. I learned one thing since I've been here. You gotta fight for your right to party!
And I thought, not only have I been guilty of insubordination, I've just walked into an F-bomb on the CBS television network, maybe. And I was so relieved that the word came out with an F-I instead of an F whatever. and it was, you got to fight for your right to party. And I said, we're out of here. James Brown, back to you. And you made the whole thing sing.
That's awesome.
I remember the other one was the Cincinnati mayor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I brought you in and you said, hey, you big jabroni. Shut your mouth, you big jabroni. To the Cincinnati mayor.
Know your role and shut your mouth, baby. Shout out to The Rock, yeah.
I have to admit, Jason, I wasn't sure what a jabroni was at the time. So I thought,
this isn't good.
You had to be late 90s, early 2000s wrestling fan to know that one.
it was perfect.
I've been known through my friends' parents as the worst influence on my friends because of insubordination. So thank you for trusting me on the stage with a mic.
You dragged me into that too. The king of friends insubordination. That's good. I'm happy to have that title.
Do you ever find yourself, because we've all, when we were growing up or playing certain sports, you'll almost comment the game to yourself, right? Like I remember playing basketball in the backyard. I'm like, all right, there's 10 seconds left. 5, 4, and he's hit it. He's hit the game. When you're playing golf, are you ever calling the game to yourself? Is that where are you that into it?
This is hilarious.
Not now, but I will call shots of the people I'm playing with.
Oh yeah, we've seen a few of those.
For whatever reason, I get such a charge out of it. The other day, I was playing, when I was down here at Troubadour in Tennessee, and was there with Luke Bryan and Golden Tate. And they said, hey, would you mind? Yeah, so I did it. And it ended up on Instagram.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I just, which I'm fine with. I think every kid had those voices in their head, Jace. I think we all put ourselves in that arena where the world was watching us, and we're trying to figure out what that would feel like.
Yeah.
And I think, like, take the Masters field this week, every single one of those players, Scotty Scheffler, Rory, all of them, Bryson, I guarantee you that as young kids, they stood over 4-footers on a practice putting green over and over again, obsessing with what that moment would be like. And they had someone doing the commentary in their head saying, this is to win the Masters tournament. I know I did, but no more. Now, I sometimes will do it because my game has fallen off a cliff and to try to like bring a little laughter and lower expectations. I will, when just playing with some buddies or people for the first time, I'll walk up to the shot and I'll say, now, Nantz, looking down that right side of the fairway, Trevor, it looks like he's going to rip driver. And I'm just trying to take the pressure off a shot that's destined to rope hook out of bounds or bomb it right out of bounds. And no, I think those voices are real for anybody that's competed at a high level.
Nowadays, everybody's got your voice in their head, man. And that's got to be quite the sign off and a pretty cool, nod to how amazing you are at what you do. I mean, you called your first Masters at 26 years old. I cannot fathom that. I was just trying to be professional, and you were like the peak of like a professional at 26 years old. How did that feel? Did you know that you were going to be able to get that opportunity earlier on, or like, what did that feel like being that young in the biggest tournament of the year?
Well, truth is, I was scared out of my mind. And now all these years later, I'm 66, and this will be number 41, which will be the new record. I came into the week with 40.
Let's go, baby.
With the great Vern Lundquist. We both have done 40. This will be my 41st. Not that anybody cares about those records. But when they entrusted me, I truly thought CBS had lost its mind. What are you? Don't you guys realize I was living in a dormitory just a few years ago on the University of Houston campus? What am I doing here? This is nuts. But of course, I acted like it's no big deal. No big deal. You know, you may not know this, but Freddie Couples and I shared a dorm room at Houston. And so, he was a great help to me on the mental side of this because he was already on the tour. He just kept telling me when I first started at CBS, what I do is I just keep saying, like a broken record, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. And I got that from Fred. I got that actually when I went to New York to audition for the job, and Fred happened to be staying at my house at the time. How cool is this? Freddie's getting back into the field, of course, as a past champion. And I trust you guys are just barely old enough to appreciate the greatness of Fred and how cool he was on a golf course.
The smoothest swing in the world, yeah.
I could watch him warm up all day. Oh,
coolest guy of all time. And when we arrived on the Houston campus as 2 of the 7 freshmen for Dave Williams and his legendary golf program, which won 13 national championships. I had nothing to do with that, by the way, but I was a part of it. I lettered. But he had the freshmen come in and introduce one another, just breaking the ice. And he said, guys, I want you to stand up. Boys, stand up and just give me basically name, rank, and serial number and what your goal is in your life. And I was, not overconfident, but I just said, I'm Jim Nantz. My goal in life is to one day work for CBS. I want to broadcast the Masters tournament.
What?
That was always my goal. And I love, by the way, parenthetically too, driven by that, obsessed with that idea because I love the way they broadcast the NFL. Some are all at Madden, some are all in Brookshire. That was my network. But I love the way they presented the Masters and the NFL. So anyway, that was my declaration. The fourth guy down stood bashfully and said, I'm Fred Couples. I'm from Seattle, Washington. And one day I want to win the Masters. And do you know, we ended up in this taking dorm suite. The coach was a genius. We have Blaine McAllister in our dorm, roomed with Blaine, one of my all-time closest friends. He won 5 tour events, and John Horn, who played on the tour a couple of years. So the 4 of us were roommates all through school. And, we got to sit there and talk about a dream that had the same landing spot, Butler Cabin. Fred wanted to win it. I wanted to be in that cabin to present it. And as weird as this sounds, I don't know if this is the kind of hijinks you guys were up to at Fremont Heights High School, but we used to practice the green jacket ceremony when we were kids in college.
Of course. That's so fucking cool, man. Hell yeah.
And lo and behold, in 1992, Freddie won the Masters, and I was there to do the interview and present the green jacket. So
I'm getting chills, man. I had no idea, dude.
Strong testament to how dreams can come true. You got to dream big for them to come true.
Speak it into existence.
And we did.
As smooth of a cat, and his personality matches that golf swing too, man. Freddie's the man.
He is, and I'm so excited. He's got a bad back, has been ailing him for years and years, decades. And he's had limited reps coming into the tournament. But, he still hits it so far. Even at 66 years old, he could make the cut. He hasn't played a lot. I don't want to put any pressure on him, but it's going to be a sad day for me when I see him say he doesn't want to compete any longer at Augusta, because that runs deep in his heart. He's one of my most special people in my life, and I love him dearly, and I know how much it means to him. It means a lot to both of us. Augusta is our place.
Well, we'll be rooting for him over there. I'll give him some extra mojo off the tee, baby. I'll be right there rooting him on, man, on Friday. Hell yeah.
Of all the big events you call every year, you talk about the Masters. What are the biggest events you've been a part of at CBS that you just think back in your career?
I've been part of the CBS golf teams, like I said, for over 40 years now. And I called 32 national championship games in college basketball. So, watching the action from Indianapolis this week, I just love it. I don't miss it. And I don't say that as any sour grapes. I needed time with my kids. And I gave it up in 2023, my own choosing, because basically the hamster wheel, and I called it the golden hamster wheel, never ended. I was on 48 weeks a year. Golf, the championship game would be played on Monday night, and I was on a flight that night into Augusta and switching gears after calling 15 games in the month of March. I just love being a part of the tournament and being able to see everything from the Fab Five through Coach K's, all the Coach K's 5 championships, UConn's program coming from nowhere to now being a dominant power, and on and on. Roy Williams, North Carolina, his time at Kansas, worked with Billy Packer for 18 years. And then, of course, Clark Kellogg, Bill Raftery, Grant Hill. It was a joy, man. It was an absolute joyride. Then the NFL, working now with Romo. We're going in our 10th year this year. Love Tony. We have so much fun together. He's one of a kind, and that's what makes him special, is that you don't want everybody to be the same, just flat X's and O's guy. He's a big kid who expresses himself as such on the air, and I find that very appealing and very authentic.
It makes it fun, man.
Worked with Phil Simms for a long time before that. I hosted 2 Super Bowls, and I've called 7. So those are the main parts. We've had Olympic Games. We've had all these different sports. I called the U.S. Open tennis for years. But my primaries were always golf, the NFL, and college basketball. When I started basketball, I got asked at a news conference in New York. I was assuming the role from Brent Musburger. I was asked, do you think you'll ever be able to approach the record for longevity for play-by-play? And I said, what's the number? And they said 6. And now these are some names from your past, even before you, but Kurt Gowdy, Dick Enberg, and Brent had all called 6 apiece. And I thought, if I could ever get to 6, that would be amazing. Well, I got to 32. want to put that record away. Okay. So, no, no, it was a gift. I'm glad that CBS wanted me to do it for that many years. I'm glad I could say when I needed to step down from it and get a few more weeks at home. But all of it's been that childhood dream. You know what that's about. It still burns deep in the heart.
Never goes away. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you for jumping on that golden hamster wheel and taking us for a ride with you, man. That's awesome, man. You started talking about the Fab Five and just the college basketball, just the madness has happened from them. And it's bone chilling to me to like hear that you've actually been able to like be a part of all those like broadcasts, like in those stadiums, in those arenas, you know, on those like greens and being able to be there. Cause the biggest thing I feel like me and Jason share from when we were kids is that we're fans first of all sports, like even football, even NFL games. That's why we love being at the ballpark. We love being at the games and feeling that energy from the fans and everybody around it. Man, it's pretty cool stuff that you get to do that for a living, man.
I don't put my feet on the floor in the morning before I give thanks. It's my ritual. It's, obviously it comes from the heart, and I just want that to be, my beacon. It's everything that I aim toward is the word gratitude. I've been asked a few times, is there anything you haven't done in broadcasting that you would like to do?
Hey, we actually had that on the rundown.
Oh, did you? I had one for a while. I wanted to call the British Open, as the rest of the world knows it, the Open Championship.
Right. Yeah.
And I happened to go over on Busman's holiday in 2009 to watch the Open, just a fan. And I got asked by the BBC to make a cameo, the British Broadcasting Company that no longer has the rights over in the UK, but they did at that time. I made a cameo, and next thing you know, they invited me back. And for 5 years, I was the guy with the funny accent, with the foreign accent. On the BBC, and I'm working with guys like legends like Peter Alice. And so I would fly over in the summer on one of my rare off weeks for CBS. No one over here would see it, but I was calling the Open for the Beeb. And that was the only thing kind of on my bucket list. More than anything, if I had to write the end of the script. I love the NFL, and I love being able to have the chance to do it for a few more years. But someday, as you approach 70, you're going to have to back off a little bit more. And I would like to do 51 Masters tournaments.
Holy cow.
That sounds like a crazy number. It used to be 50. I wanted to be able to say I did 50 Masters because, again, that's that little boy still speaking inside of my head. And I mentioned that at an awards event out in California, and this broadcaster of yesteryear, one of the greats of all time, Jack Whitaker, had introduced me. And he said, I heard you say you want to do 50 Masters. I said, yeah. He said, you need to do 51. I said, why is that? He says, if you do the math, your 51st Masters, 2036, would be the 100th playing of the Masters. He said, you need to be there for that. And he said something very nice. He said, and I think Augusta needs you to be there for that, to usher out the first century and bring in the next. So that's kind of been everything that, I've thought about for a long time. So I didn't come on your show to announce my retirement on April 14th, 2036. But we're kind of working that way.
I love it. I love it.
You get the opportunity to, man. We'll be at the 51st airing of the Masters for you, brother.
We'd be honored.
You got to fight for your right to party.
Come on. Do you have any personal Mount Rushmore of Masters moments? You got any like top tier, the ones that stand out to you the most?
Yeah, I do. And I'm going to put the Freddie win in 92 in a special box over here. That was really personal. Okay, because that's like Hollywood make-believe fantasy stuff that two kids could practice that scene of the green jacket presentation and actually have to do it for real. That was choking my guts out, and so was he. We barely could get the words out. That was a watershed moment for me. I really, truly feared if I could emotionally hold up for that, but we both did, and I was able to get us off the air clean. And that one's in its own category. But I've got three. One would be Jack Nicklaus, 1986, my first. Now, you guys weren't around to see it.
Oh, I know it. It was him, the Shark, and
Seve,
yeah.
Tom Kite. Tom Watson, Bernhard Langer. I mean, it was a load of Corey Pavin. They were all jockeying. Greg Norman, like you said, they were all in the mix. And that's when you mentioned it earlier. I was just a young kid. Chill bumps up and down my arms. My teeth were chattering. Jack made a pivotal birdie on my hole, the 16th. And I uttered the words, "The bear has come out of hibernation." Now, I did not know where that line came from. I truly thought I'm incapable of coming up with that narrative, that clip, that caption. And I began to have doubt in my head as the broadcast continued, because we still had Seve to come through. Norman, Jack had gone out way ahead of them. And I began to think I just plagiarized a remark that someone else had said earlier in the show. We had announcers from 10 in. So I thought, well, maybe someone down there at Amen Corner had said. No one had, as it turns out. And
Ohio ball player, man. Shout out to Jack.
To debut with Jack was crazy. And then I will go Tiger, 97. Not that it was competitive. Now, I know you boys remember that one. I called that one. I was at the 18th by then. And I called it a win for the ages. That was one of my lines. Jason, you asked me about this earlier. That line I had pre-planned.
Okay.
He had a 6-shot lead going into Sunday, and he was running away from the field. And I knew that clip was going to have the narrative
Forever.
played with it forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
You know, this is a piece. There's a permanence to it. It's going to be a couple hundred years from now when they come on the air with the Masters and they do the montage. That clip of Tiger winning in 97 will be on there.
100%.
Dragged into history with it is the little narrative. There it is, a win for the ages. So I thought about that a lot the night before. I knew it had to be short. I knew it had to match up with the moment in a historical sense. And I'm really happy that was the line that we landed on. But after that, on that short list, Travis, would be Tiger again in 2019.
Full circle.
When he was given up for not being competitive again, and it came full circle, and now he's hugging his kids behind the 18th green, basically on the same spot where his dad had embraced him 22 years earlier.
So beautiful, man.
Now that's what we are. We're storytellers. We're not spewing stats. We're trying to tell people what's inside of their hearts and what this moment contextually means. And I happen to be at both of those. I call that one the return to glory, because his kids had never seen him be the champion golfer that he was, like we knew him. And I saw them behind the 18th green. I was told earlier in the day they were not on property, but they were. And I just thought, what a gift to have them see their father, have this encore performance. And I just kept thinking of the word glory as this was all playing out. And when he knocked in the last putt, I just said, not with a lot of exclamation, almost soulful, because he had been through the long road back. And I just said, the return to glory. I felt like it matched that moment.
Yeah, it did.
But that's on that short list. And the last one I would say would be Rory last year. The career Grand Slam, the ups and downs, the wild Odyssey ride he put us on Sunday when he won it, lost it, double bogey the first hole, nearly shanked it at 13. You're like, what's going on here? And then to rally and win it in a playoff over Rosie was storybook stuff.
Well, those are 4 iconic, absolutely iconic. I think the 86 one came across my Instagram feed the other day, and there was a moment where the Shark, Norman, is just taking the deepest breath on 18 before his approach shot. And you could tell, man, that there's nothing like that tournament.
Yeah. Have you met Jack? Have either one of you had a chance to be around Jack a little bit?
I have had the pleasure. I did a movie last year and got to be in a scene with the coolest guy to ever come from Ohio, man. He is silky smooth. He's just the nicest guy, man.
Yeah, we got to treasure him. He's here he is, the 40-year anniversary of 1986, and he's 86 years old. I love the man. When you're growing up as a kid, there's things that you end up getting to experience that I know you guys, you live such big lives, both of you do, that sometimes you stop when no one's watching and you think, gosh, can you really believe like what I'm doing?
Seriously?
I'm going to
Somebody-
How did we get here?
How did this happen?
Wake me
Seriously,
up.
can't be
Somebody
real?
wake me up. Can't be real.
I mean, somebody wake me up. And like for Jack, for me, obviously I idolized him, and a very close relationship has evolved through the years with the whole family. I adore the whole family. In 2015, he was the 150th American all time, so a milestone number, to receive the Congressional Gold Medal. Yeah, 150th. Now I'm sure that number's probably up to like, high 150s maybe. But he was the 7th athlete ever to get the Congressional Gold Medal. And Jack called me and said, hey, all of Congress and all the Senate, they're going to be in the Capitol Rotunda. And I would like you and my son, Jack the second, to be my presenters when I get the Congressional Gold Medal.
So cool.
Holy cow.
That was big.
That didn't come with the job occupation.
And you're sitting there addressing, a lot of policymakers who are still in office, and you're trying to tell a story about Jack Nicklaus. And of course, it's all about him, but what an honor. And then you got Arnold Palmer. I was just packing today for what to wear at Augusta, the on-air days. And, we don't have a lot of options. We got the CBS network blazer, but shirt and tie combos. And I wanted to put a tie in there for Arnold Palmer because this marks the 10-year anniversary of Arnold's passing. And when he had his last visit to Augusta, he died in September. He was at on property in April of 2016, and I actually helped walk him to his car and watched him be driven away for the last time down Magnolia Lane and leave Augusta. 4 months later, he had passed. Believe it or not, he died during an Eagles game that he was watching. 2016, Pittsburgh against Philadelphia, week 3 or 4.
I know which game you're talking about. September
25th or 26th, 2016. He was a huge Steeler fan because he was, from Latrobe, and they had camp at St. Vincent's College in Latrobe. So that was his team. And I knew he was going through a heart procedure on Monday, the day after the game. And I called him like on Friday from Philly just to say, hey, I'm doing the game. I'm going to mention you during the game. I'm going to wish you well. Oh, no, please don't do that. Not because he knew there'd be a lot of people reaching out to me. Just he was so humble. But I said, Arnie, you're going to be watching your Steelers. So I had it in my head. I'm going to do this. So third quarter, come out of commercial. So we're back here at the link. And just want to give a shout out to one of the Steelers' greatest fans, Arnold Palmer. Arnold, I know you've been a little under the weather. Wish you well, speedy recovery. God bless you. Second down and 7. Whatever. Got back to the game. Got off the game. The minute I took the headset off, my phone was ringing, and it was from his manager to let me know that Arnold passed away right after halftime, early start of the third quarter, probably 15 minutes before I said that. He was completely lucid in the first half, watching the game, and then he drifted away, and we said goodbye to one of the most influential sportsmen of all time. And then I was asked to be one of his eulogists at his funeral. Again, pinch me. How do you put words together for Arnold Palmer? I mean, a man who popularized the sport as much as anyone. So, again, this all circles back, Jason, to one of your questions moons ago. Gratitude. How did I get here? How did I end up landing on this great podcast with you two guys who I admire?
Oh, yeah, right. No, there's no pinch me moment here except for me and Jason getting to hear these stories.
I long for nothing. I don't want anything. I just want my family healthy, and all those things that we all wish for in our personal lives. And I'm grateful for everything.
You're incredible at what you do, Jim. And that's why you get asked to do all these things. And that's why people remember you and have such affection for you, because you're remarkable. You're the best play-by-play person in this generation. How did you have this gift? Like, what What led to you being so good at this?
Yeah. Did you like read dictionaries and stuff? How is your vernacular so good?
I think you both are doing absolutely great, off the charts, and your careers both are bound for a very special place down the road from your home, your boyhood home. And then chapter 2 is going to be absolutely thrilling and exciting for both of you. It's amazing. It's amazing when you could have the chance to do that many things with a life. But when I was a young boy, I really was tuned into the broadcasters as much as I was the athlete. For some reason, I was riveted by their ability to tell a story. It was tantamount to sitting in church and having a great pastor deliver a homily that you didn't have your mind drift. Sometimes it's easy to battle that, but you're like, oh my gosh, I'm hooked. Where's this story going? And then in classical form, that story has a beginning, a middle for context and story development, and then a payoff. And I paid attention to how they did that. My teachers in school, and and especially was mesmerized by the voices that I was listening to on weekends, delivering these sporting events, the Jim McKays, Jack Whitakers, Chris Schenkel, Kurt Gowdy, Keith Jackson, Pat Summerall. It goes on. And now Al Michaels, who's like a dear friend. I don't want to put Al with a bunch of older guys, but he's a great friend and influential to me in many ways. So I studied their cadence. I studied their inflections. I studied their command of the language. And I paid extra attention on all my English classes. I still want to make all my English professors proud. I want my grammarians to say, I taught that boy how to speak.
Hell yeah.
But the heart of it is, it's not about the numbers. It's about the people and the places. And I could be, as a kid, so struck by these stories of triumph and how people made it in the sports realm. And sports took me around the world. The world is much smaller now with the internet. When I was a kid, TV, internet, it was way different. But that was my way of learning about the world. And I wanted to be one of those storytellers. I could care less at the time about being on television, but television was going to be the vehicle for me to tell these stories. And I wanted to be one of those voices that was influencing me. I wanted to be able to have a voice that had people understand those subjects a little bit better. That was it. And it just, you know what, a lot of breaks have to fall your way, as you have to have people that put their arm around your shoulder and tell you that they believe in you. And I was thinking about this at the Easter service this week. You do at times, no matter who you are, particularly when you're a performer, and you guys are performers, you have all kinds of things that can work against you. You know that. You have doubters. Like, we all have enough doubt to deal with on our own. But you have people that are second guessers, who are critics, who don't understand how hard it is to perform on a moment's notice. You're trying your best, and sometimes we fail. Sometimes the words come out upside down, or you don't capture something quite crystal clear as you should. But everybody's got an opinion. And, you learn how to deal with that noise.
Yeah.
I know we all make it because it's personal. So we feel like there are a lot of people at times against us. And it's not reality. It's just sometimes these louder voices that are maybe on social media or just plainly in the media. We deal with media too. We got all kinds of television critics out there, whether they're social or whether they're in electronic or print, whatever. But yeah, you learn to deal with it. And as a little kid, I never thought about, I'm going to have to have people that are telling me I'm not any good or somebody's better. And I never thought about that. I was thinking about playing. I didn't realize there'd be that noise. And there is a learning curve for that. And, I've had to deal with it for 40 years, and I think I've handled it well. And I've tried my best to be the person that I am and not let that sully what otherwise has been a dream life. And you guys, I hope, realize that same thing. Whatever noise you hear, it's insignificant. It all goes away. And when life goes on and you guys get to be my age and older, and you're still going to be doing whatever you're doing, I'm sure at a very high level, that bust is going to be sitting there in Canton, long past you both as, being on the planet. That bust is going to be there. The criticism or the noise, that's all immaterial. It's history. You built a life in other realms too. Your families. Look what you've done to make your family proud. I get the biggest rise out of seeing how much your parents enjoy what you both are doing and how you both have supported one another. That's where I'm coming from. A family to me, it's everything. I was playing a video the other day. My kids were young, and I'm way off on a tangent here.
I love it, though. I love it. We're so like that. Yeah, please keep going. Yeah.
I was telling my kids about something. It was from 4 years ago, and I was 3 years ago. And I said, family is love, and love is family. Mm-hmm. And if you're surrounded, you understand the world is like that. And I think you guys do. I mean, I see it from the outside. I see that love in your own circles.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Jason, the amazing life that you and your family have built. Travis, what you're building, and starting right there with your mom and dad and what you've done to make Cleveland, and specifically Cleveland Heights, proud. That love, man, that nurturing got you to where you are. I had the same thing.
It's the best.
Hello, friends. I want my dad to hear me. He's been gone 18 years. I got chills right now thinking about it. I just want to make him proud. And that's when I say my feet hit the floor in the morning and I have gone through my ritual. One of those things with gratitude is just saying I want to make people proud.
It's the best.
Yeah.
And I'm going into Augusta this week. I'm going to give it my all.
Oh, you're going to make everyone proud.
And I just hope I can make people proud. The people that are my family, who I love, and love as family.
Well, make sure I come up to you and pinch you so you know you're not dreaming, big guy.
I'll know when somebody comes and pinches me from behind. I won't even have to turn around and look. I'll know it's you.
Those are really the best moments, though. I mean, when I'm playing in a big game or win or loss, Jason's been at a lot of the big games. My family has been at, every big game in my life. And those moments where you come out of that game and you see the ones that are there to support you. You see the ones that have been on this journey with you your entire life. And you see, where it's gotten to. It's the most beautiful thing that I could have ever asked for in my life is the fact that I have that much support from family and friends. And I remember the funniest one was coming up from that Buffalo game where Jason jumped out of the suite and jumped back in the suite. I come up to the suite at the end of the game to celebrate my friends and family, and Jason has his shirt off still.
Tony and I covered that game.
Of course. You know it very well. Yeah.
You caught a couple of tutties. You were right there in that end zone. You caught one. You looked up at him.
But knowing you got that much support and you make your family and your loved ones that happy when you're playing, and they get that much excitement out of seeing you doing what you love the most, it's the best, man. And I hear you on that, man. The gratitude and getting to be able to do what we love and all that makes it all worth it, man.
The odds for what you guys have accomplished, that gets back to that whole pinch me thing. But the odds of even being able to make it to the NFL. I mean, everybody thinks that plays it at Division I level thinks it's going to happen.
You couldn't tell me and Jason that. Even with the 1 star connected to our names on all the high school recruiting.
I didn't even have a star. 0 stars. I had the picture of me was that black silhouette. You know what I mean? It is a pinch me moment whenever we look back at that. And, our families have been so uniquely blessed to share in all these experiences together. And then to make other families along the way and all the friends, and not like anything else. Like you always accomplish things through the help and guidance with other people. And the teams we've been on, the coaches we've had along the way. You mentioned something earlier, Jim, about people infusing belief. And I've said this before. I think belief is the greatest thing you can give another human being for exactly what you're saying. There's so much, in your own head that you can build up with doubt and nerves and things. When somebody gives you that gift, it gives you the power to overcome all of the little things that really don't mean anything. And I just love that so much. I do want to ask you, do you have a welcome to broadcasting moment? You talked about the nerves of that first Masters at 26 years old. Is there something that happened maybe young in your career that was like, all right, I'm finally doing this thing?
Well, before I got to CBS, I was, I was on the Houston golf team, but I was not as passionate about trying to be a professional golfer, nor did I have the skill level, nowhere close, as I was. The boyhood dream was the broadcasting thing. But I started working in the business when I was 20 for the CBS affiliate in Houston, the fourth largest market in the country. I was the weekend fill-in sports anchor, but it amounted to a lot of anchoring the sports broadcast on the 10 or 11 o'clock news, whichever time zone you're in, you know what I'm talking about. And I was still living in the dorms. And so I was still living with all my golf guys I mentioned before. And that was, I knew that I was, as far as where I am with my age group, being on a CBS station at 20 while you're still in college was rare. I was very fortunate. But then upon graduation, I got an opportunity to be hired by the CBS affiliate in Salt Lake City at KSL. And with that, I got to do the Utah Jazz games. So I was 23 and I was in the NBA, calling NBA, and I was the play-by-play announcer for BYU.
The Cougs.
Yeah.
They won the national championship in 1984, and I was doing their games with Steve Young.
Oh
my gosh.
Who had graduated a couple years before and was playing in the USFL for the LA Express.
Oh my gosh.
So we're doing a game in Provo, and the booth where we broadcast from at Cougar Stadium was so small they had us record our on-camera opening on the field. So we knocked that out. We jumped in the press elevator for the start of the show a few minutes later, and the elevator blew a fuse. And for a quarter and a half, the elevator didn't move.
Oh my!
Are you kidding me?
Meanwhile, the game goes on, the show goes on. They ran a scroll at the bottom of the screen that says, "We are experiencing audio difficulties." Yeah, you have no announcers. That's an audio difficulty.
That's quite the difficulty. Yeah.
So, just randomly blew a fuse, and then it started back up, and we rejoined the broadcast with about 6 minutes to go in the half. That was a terrifying moment. I can remember, if you talk to Steve ever about it to this day, we were starting to get claustrophobic, to say the least. And it was a tiny panel that you could knock it out. I could lift him up if we wanted to, and he could try to get out of the elevator shaft. We decided that was not a good idea. That could have prevented what later became a Hall of Fame career in San Francisco. But anyway, we had that moment. And then, lo and behold, after 2.5 years in Utah, I got a call from a producer at CBS named Ed Gorin, who later became the president of Fox Sports. Great friend of mine to this day. He said, "We've been taping your shows for the last month, and you're one of 5 finalists for an opening at CBS Sports." I thought it was a prank call. I thought it was one of my college buddies. They knew this was my goal. This can't be true. Come on. I said, "Come on, give it up." But the next day I was on a plane to New York, and I was auditioning in the CBS Broadcast Center against the likes of Roy Firestone, who was a famous broadcaster, had this up-close show on ESPN, the great James Brown. And I ended up winning the audition, and within a couple of weeks, I was on the air being introduced by Brent Musburger.
Holy cow.
September the 14th, 1985, Notre Dame in Michigan, and I was the studio host with Pat Hayden of the Prudential College Football Report. Michigan had a quarterback named Jim Harbaugh, and
heard of him
on that broadcast, and here we were. Suddenly the dream has come true.
Gone. Well, thank God that elevator got working, baby.
Do you take the stairs now? Do you make sure that doesn't happen?
That is a fair question. Romo and I, we get there super early. I'm one of these guys that don't want to sit in a hotel room. I want to get to the game. Usually we're doing the 4:25 game, and I like to be there by 11:30. So I take that out of the equation.
I'm good friends with Merrill Reese with the Eagles. I know he doesn't eat before he broadcasts games because he doesn't want to have to or get up to use the bathroom. He gets particular about certain things. Are you the same way before you do a game or the Masters?
I've got a bunch. It's going to sound a little outrageous, so I'm really it's quirky. It's quirky, but I love Merrill Reese and Mike Quick. By the way, Merrill, they're both great friends. I think the only thing is I'm not afraid to eat before a game.
Okay.
Once we get that show rolling, I get the Hello Friends up on the air. I'm relaxed. I'm ready to go, and I get lost in the game. I just get lost talking to Tony. I like to think the two of us are sitting at home on a couch watching a game together. It just happens to be whatever the number is, 50 million people who are eavesdropping on our show. But at halftime, Jason, I will not eat a hot dog anywhere. I don't happen to eat, I think, pretty healthy food, but I have, because I think it's something from my youth, I will eat a half a hot dog at halftime. I'll cut it right off at the halfway point. And also, if I do 22 games, I've had 22 half hot dogs, and I can't do a second half without it.
How about that?
So that's it. That's about as quirky as it gets. When I was calling NCAA tournament games, by the way, I was just thinking of right here, I'm in my office. I want to show you something here. You see that thing right there?
Oh, yeah.
That was given to me in 2023 by Bill Raftery, Grant Hill, and Tracy Wolfson. They got the official NCAA logo marking. That's not Christian Laettner's 32. That's my 32.
It's your 32.
For 32 Final Fours. And I was just thinking of that this week with the Final Four. I obsess over preparation. And I've loved talking to both of you in these production meetings. I know you probably think, wow, do I need to do these things? I'm not looking for X's and O's. I'm looking for heartbeat. I can remember having a great one with you, Jason, late in your career, and having a talk with you about Canton. I can remember talking to you about that.
I remember that as well.
Amazing credentials. And you guys it might have been Pittsburgh again at Philadelphia.
It's usually AFC.
Yeah, I just, I feel really solid about what I'm doing because I've read everything.
Yeah.
And I'm a voracious reader. And now it's just a matter of the game unfolding and the storylines presenting themselves. Make sure no matter who makes the play, I have something that people can learn about that guy.
Yeah.
Where'd he come from? What's his story? What's in his heart? And that's the responsibility that when we get to Masters Sunday, someone's going to be walking up that 72nd hole. And I want to really represent them well. I'm in the storytelling business. I'm not doing an issues and answers show. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I'm trying to build people up, actually. I'm trying to shine a light on people. That's been what I believe in. I believe in people, and I want people to know the goodness that is in the people that I'm covering. So when someone comes up 18 on Sunday, and maybe it's a first-time winner of the Masters, I would like to think that whatever I'm going to say about them is something getting back to what you talked about. When they were a little kid practicing 4-footers and they had a voice in their head as they're trying to win the Masters tournament in their mind. What is it? What was that voice telling them? What was that voice saying about them? I want to do them the right way, the proud. I want to do them right. One time, do you remember Jose Maria Olazabal?
Doesn't ring a bell.
He was from a little town in Spain. I just use this as an illustration.
Okay.
His father was a superintendent at Royal San Sebastian. His grandmother lived at home with the family. And whenever little Chima, that was his nickname, would leave, she would light a candle. And that candle would remain lighted until little Chima came home. He told me that story one time, and I thought, man, if he ever gets to the Masters, I'm telling that story.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's epic.
He came up 18, and I said, somewhere on the other side of the planet, it's 2:00 in the morning. There's a candle burning for his return home.
So
I told
cool.
a little bit of an abridged version of what I just told you, and I said, this time, Jose Maria is coming home.
Those stories make everyone feel like that person is relatable. It brings them down to like the surface level because everybody has that love and that care for their family like that at home, and that person's living a dream out. He's representing someone, and he's the things like the stories that you tell bring everybody at ease and bring you and and when you're in the football world, Tony, right into their living room, and it makes them feel like it is just that natural conversation. It's been amazing to be on the field, at least while you're calling the games. I've cherished every single moment we've ever shared on a stage together, and I just can't thank you enough, man.
I'll just leave you with this. Rory, last year, when he was coming down the stretch, I had a story on him that I had been holding on to for years. He was an only child. His parents worked 2 jobs. They worked basically around the clock to be able to give this prodigy that people were telling me, your son has a special gift, to give him a chance to compete. They flew him over to the States as early as like the age of 12, and he was competing around the world. They didn't have the means to do that, but they worked around the clock. One day, his father took him to the driving range where they had put in the token and the ball dispenser, and he only had enough money left over after paying the bills to get 1 token. 30 balls were dispensed. And little Rory said to his dad, "Dad, I want to hit more balls." And he said, "Son, I wish I could. I wish I could. That's all I can afford this week. But do me a favor. I want you to hit those 30 shots like every single one of them is in the Masters competition. Give it your best." And I thought, man, when I heard that story from Jimmy Dunn, a friend of mine, you guys might know Jimmy from New York. When I heard that story, I thought, someday he's going to be coming up the last hole at Augusta. And I'm going to let people know how far he came from that loving, nurturing mom and dad that didn't have the means. They had to work themselves to death to get their son to be able to reach his full potential. 1 token, 30 balls, hit him like you're trying to win the Masters tournament. And that story got dropped in there at the end last year, and he won the Masters.
You always bring it full circle, man.
You are one of one, brother. I can't tell you what an honor it has been to listen to you share these stories. What an honor it's going to be to watch you do your 41st Masters. Yeah. You've officially surpassed the amount of balls Rory had to hit. You're way past him. Congratulations. We're all looking forward to it.
Thank you for having me on. I really, truly, I was so appreciative to get the invite to come on the week of the Masters, and it would mean a lot to me if even it was just a minute, if I had a chance to express how much I appreciate both of you in person and this particular podcast being a guest this week down in Augusta. Jason, good luck with that, by the way. I know you're going to be great. Have a wonderful time. I'm here. Anything I can do to help. Do
you have any advice? Like, what's the advice here? I mean, it's my first time. I've been to.
Define your role for me. It's going to be interviewer
of players and friends and family. I'm kind of going to be boots on the ground, just talking in between holes and stuff.
There's 2 things you're going to focus on here.
Okay.
Virtually everybody in that field is going to have a caddy that's special to them. And more likely, it's going to be a family member, a child, a daughter, or even a wife.
Yes.
So 1 is, what was that experience like?
Yep.
And 2 is, how do you feel about your game going into the tournament? That's all you need to ask.
Perfect.
Now, maybe somebody knocks a hole in one, and you might ask them about that. But I think people want to know what the week looks like for them and what that experience was like out on the par 3 tournament. It's unique. We don't see anything like that the rest of the year. You don't need to dig much deeper than that. This is a feel-good event, yes. And you're going to be the right guy to do that.
I got a third one, Jason. Don't forget, keep your shirt on.
When you listen to Jim Nantz, it doesn't feel like you're just hearing a legendary sports broadcaster. It feels like you're hearing a life story unfold. A journey filled with iconic moments, unforgettable calls, and history being made right in front of him. But beyond all of that, there's a human side that often goes unseen. A son, a husband, a father, someone who has lived through emotions that go far deeper than any game. He's witnessed some of the greatest moments in sports, moments that millions remember because of his voice. Yet when he reflects on his own favorite memories, they aren't always the ones the world saw. They're the quiet, personal moments, the ones shared with family, the ones that never made it to the broadcast. Because for him, success was never just about standing on the biggest stages or calling the biggest games. It was about balance. About understanding that while careers can define you, it's the people in your life who truly shape you. There were sacrifices along the way, long days, time spent away, but those experiences taught him something powerful, that no achievement means much if you don't have someone to share it with. And that's what makes his story different. It's not just about fame or legacy, it's about meaning, about knowing what truly matters when the lights go down and the crowd fades away. So when Jim Nantz talks about his journey, his favorite moments, and the importance of family, it hits differently. Because it's not just a career story, it's a reminder of what really matters in life.